We've got multiple insiders reporting on how the Cubs are close to acquiring Edward Cabrera from the Miami Marlins. Michael Cerami, who covers the Cubs, was first on the scene. Ken says source confirming that it is close. Edward Cabrera is one of the better starters stuff-wise available on the trade market. We had seen the report the other day that the Yankees were hot on the Marlins to try and get Cabrera, but it looks like the Cubs are going to end up on top. They've got plenty of prospect capital too. Time to use it.
Yeah. If you think this puts you over the top, I still think they need bats somewhere.
Sure, but they needed another starter.
They did,
with
but their
stuff.
starting rotation is pretty solid right now.
No, I disagree.
Justin Steele comes back.
When he comes back. That's
when he comes back. Matthew Boyd.
Yeah.
Ion.
It's good.
And Cade Horton. That's 5 pretty good ones.
They needed this, though.
Okay. For who? Whose spot does he take?
Well, Steele's not starting right now. I mean, he's not back until, halfway through the year?
I don't know.
If not more. But right now, I think it's pretty easy. It's Boyd, Horton, Imanaga, Edward Cabrera, Jameson Taillon, Colin Ray, swingman.
Okay.
Or they're going to a 6-man rotation like everybody else that has a Japanese starter, and maybe they feel like that's part of Imanaga's, hey, if we can move him to a 6-man rotation, maybe we can eliminate some of those home runs. But I don't care where he slots in the rotation. He slots in one of those playoff starts. I get it. If Justin Steele is Justin Steele come playoffs, yeah, I mean, he's going to pitch over Edward Cabrera. But right now, last postseason, he's starting one of those playoff games, which I'm pretty sure they had an opener for one of the playoff games. But
multiple.
Yeah.
Multiple
they had to use Boyd on short rest in the DS.
Dude, they had to use Boyd on short rest, and then I'll pull up in the next few seconds who the starters were for the
games. They were scared to use Shota. They didn't want to use Shota. They didn't want to use Colin Ray, though he pitched really well for him. I mean, they were like, we don't want to. It's like they don't want to pitch those guys. But my question is with Edward Cabrera, how many times he's pitched over 100 innings in his career?
Once.
That was last year. One time he's thrown over 100 innings in his career.
The Dodgers would love him.
He threw 137 innings last year. Before that, his career high was 99. So he's thrown over 100 innings one time.
He's a kid.
He's 28 years old.
Yeah,
he ain't a kid.
But I'm not defending this. This is why he's
not a
star.
For the Cubs, listen, this move makes sense because they need this move, and they can. I mean, we'll find out who the pieces are they're giving up. But to me, he's not an ace to me, right? So he's not a front of the rotation guy.
But he's a playoff starter.
Okay, they got to get there. And if their offense right now, unless things without Tucker and PCA doesn't become the PCA of the first half, and he's the PCA of the second half next year, I mean, they got some holes in that. Are we counting on Carson Kelly to have the career year he had last year? I don't know. I mean, I just think I like this trade for the Cubs, but I think somewhere along the line they need some offense.
I think this was the top need. I agree. I mean, it sounds like they're in the running for Bo Bichette, Alex Bregman, maybe someone else that we're
I love how that's
about.
been the Cubs' number one need. How are they confused? I'll tell you how I'm confused. Because they have a
Don't
rotation.
ruin this for Mike.
Mike G.
Yeah, well, the Cubs
celebrate it.
So
it's a good pickup.
It is a good pickup.
Do you know who started Game 5?
They needed another starting pitcher, especially if your only starting pitchers that make your starts are Matthew Boyd, who's maybe he's had a history of not making all his starts in his career. Imanaga spent some time on the IL. This was a definite need, even though the other day I said they also need somebody to replace Tucker, which is tough to replace. And I think so. I agree with AJ that they need a piece in the position player realm. I'm not sure exactly where, but they need a bat. They need a bat. There's an offense that was good last year with Kyle Tucker. They were really good at some points, but I think this addition is great because I don't think they need him to throw 32 innings because he hasn't so far in his career. I mean, 32 starts, not 32 innings.
Do you know who started Game 5, the last game of the season for the Cubs in the NLDS?
Well, it wasn't sure. Well, what killed him was Horton getting hurt at the end.
Sure.
Cade
Okay.
Horton. If they would have had him, it completely changes everything. Who
He's
started
joining
Game
us on
5?
today's
It wasn't
show.
Shota because it was scheduled to be Shota and they didn't start.
Drew
him.
Pomerantz.
Drew Pomerantz was
Yeah.
the starter for Game 5.
I was like, it was supposed to be Shota, but they didn't start him.
Your season on the line.
And he's coming on
This
today.
has nothing to do with Drew. We love you, Drew.
He's coming on
We're
today.
excited for you. We're going to talk to you later. It's just that it's cool to have a big-time starter who can give you length go in the game that decides your season, and that's why.
But this is what teams have done forever now. And
I know, but not in.
They don't
Game
care.
5,
They're like, oh, we'll match up. We'll use an opener because it matches up in the first inning better than just letting our starter go out there. Because the starter's going to be out in 3 innings. Because every manager now goes, I can't have my starter go through the lineup twice because God forbid he's pitching well.
Had that go in the World Series. We had teams that could throw starters up there.
And that's why it was a great World
That's
Series.
why they met up, and that's why it was a great World Series. So the point here is next time the Cubs get to a do-or-die playoff game, they will have options and not have to go bullpen game. They can use their Drew Pomerantz later in the game and leverage versus having to use him to start the game. So I think that's the big point here. Cade Horton's sophomore season coming off injury. Edward Cabrera has not been durable, but stuff-wise, he will start a playoff game for you if he looks like he did in 2025. Justin Steele hopefully comes back and feels good. We'll see. I mean, the trust factor for Eminaga, he's certainly being paid this coming season like he should start playoff games for the Cubs, but are you getting the 24 edition? Are you getting the 25 edition? This makes things much more interesting for their rotation, and it makes them much more competitive in the division, right? Do you feel as if the Cubs have more of a shot to take down the Brewers in the division?
Yes.
Okay.
And it wasn't all durability with Edward Cabrera. Some of it was, you remember, it wasn't last year, I think it was the year before, where they started to manipulate a little bit of time in the big leagues with some of their pitchers. Like Yuri Perez, they were like, well, we don't want him to get too many innings, but then they sent him down to AAA and he was pitching in AAA. They were doing that with Cabrera, Meyer, Yuri Perez. So some of it wasn't just durability. Some of it was he had a 5 ERA. He was right at a 5 ERA. So this is a guy, yes, he's 28 years old, 27 years old last year. He's still making adjustments in the big leagues. I think that's maybe the Cubs. We don't know who they're giving back, but I think the Cubs are hoping this past year was what he is and not what he was the previous years.
Well, I think there's also a case of the Marlins trying to sell high.
That's very true. I mean,
I think the Marlins are trying to sell high after his best year by far. They're like, hey, we can get some stuff. And we all know Peter Bendix ain't keeping nobody. And they want no payroll. So he's like, hey, we can get some prospects that might turn into something. We'll do this and save some money along the way.
sometimes guys make adjustments and they stick. Sometimes guys make adjustments and the league adjusts back. I mean, Edward Cabrera has been a touted prospect and young player, and this was when it really came together for him. And yes, a career high 137 and 2/3 innings, but the command was much better this year. And he did make a lot of changes. Like I'm going through the changes, dropped his arm slot, ditched his slider for his curveball. I mentioned how the command got better. The power changeup got better for him too. Best velo in his career on it. The downside is twice on the IL this year, he had a blister and then a sprained right elbow. And from 2021 to 2024, he had 7 trips on the injured list, 3 times with a shoulder impingement. So it's not the perfect player, but if you see the top here on the StatCast page, in terms of results, he was getting results this year. And obviously, yeah, he ranks pretty well in velo, chase percentage, whiff percentage, strikeout percentage, even walk percentage, which was big for him. So not the perfect player, but postseason starter. So this is big for the Cubs. And it doesn't cost much. So if the Cubs are trying to actually do some damage and take those alligator arms and try and get some money out, they're still okay. Because Edward Cabrera is projected to make $3.7 million in arbitration for 2026. It's going to cost $3-4 million this year.
He's got 3 years.
A number 3 starter.
Yeah,
He's got 3 years of control left.
And he's got 3 years of control. That's why he was highly coveted
Yeah.
by teams like the Cubs, the Yankees, and many others.
Yeah. Makes it, again, good job by the Marlins. We don't know what they got back, but this was a sell high.
And the Marlins feel like they have enough starting pitching depth. If you're a Marlins fan, you're obviously like, when does it end?
Never.
This guy had years
Never.
left. When does it end?
Never.
Just look north. Just look north. This is that. I mean, I have a hard time believing Peter Bendix isn't going to run it exactly like the Rays. You get in that 4 years of service range, which Cabrera is just a little bit under that. We're going to start fishing. We're going to start throwing you out in the water, see what kind of bait, see what kind of fish we can snag with what you're doing. And this is a perfect example. Kind of sped up his window to be traded, especially since Alcantara didn't have a season and didn't get traded. He's like, all right, well, it's time to trade somebody. We have value here. So it's just look at the Rays. Look north to the Rays. That's how they're going to run it.
Yeah. And for Sandy, he's likely going to head into the season pitching for the Marlins and then get traded at the deadline. I know we said that this past year.
He has 1 more year or 2 more years?
I got to look.
I thought it was 2.
The problem with Sandy, I think he might have an option on that second one. So he's making $17 million. He just made $17 million 25, $17 million 26, a $21 million club option for 2027. That's not a guarantee. We need to see him pitch well for a full year. It's likely, right?
Okay,
it's
but if
likely.
Sandy Alcantara,
so 2 years,
who
most
takes
likely.
the ball, he just had Tommy John. So they usually say 4 to 5 years after you have your first one, whatever. So that's 2 more years. That'll be his 3rd year back. If he takes the ball every fifth day.
But that's why
But are you telling me that Sandy Alcantara 2 years from now, I mean, depending on what happens with the CBA, won't be worth $21 million making 30 starts?
No, he should. So
I can't imagine that not being picked up. So
it's 2 years, close to 40 mil.
That's nothing
left.
though for a quality starting pitcher.
But he's not going to get traded to the deadline because his value is being
Well, yeah, it has to be built back up because he was great. Then he got hurt. He wasn't great early, but at the second half, he was pretty good last year.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of was back to the old Sandy. So the key is if he gets off to a good start, the Marlins would be like, Peter Bendix would be sitting there going, man, I can't wait to trade this guy.
This is going to be great. I'm going to get so many prospects.
So many prospects.
Surplus value. What did that other thing say? They got blocked for a sec. Marlins are about to get a revamp to their lineup. Maybe, depending on who's in there, probably young position players. Some of the MLB teams have turned into nothing more than an extended farm system for the winning teams.
Well,
somewhat accurate.
That's kind of always been the case, though.
Somewhat accurate. Well, that's what pisses people off, though. They're like, why is that always the case? Well,
because teams don't want to spend money.
Yeah. If they lose Casey and Ballesteros needs more time, I hope the Cubs find a bat with the money they save from Edward. Yeah.
Well, Ballesteros, here's the thing about Ballesteros. He supposedly can hit. He's not going to catch because they've already said he's just basically a DH at like 22
For
years
sure?
old.
He can't
Pretty
catch?
much. They've
Not even as a backup catcher?
I mean, he's a backup catcher like Wilson Contreras. I mean, they didn't want him to catch, clearly, last year.
Dude can hit.
He can hit, but
full-time DH at 22 is a tough ask. I think that they're going to try and develop him more as a catcher. No?
Here's the issue. If your bat is ahead of you as a backup catcher at 22 years old, they want you to hit. They're going to get 2 to 3 years of value out of your bat before you take enough. If the defense is suspect behind the dish, you have to improve that somehow. You ain't improving that riding the pine. Believe me. That's why older guys, failed starters, become backups. It's not a case where they have that stud starter and then they're like, oh, you're gonna get, you're just gonna fill in here. No, like Ballesteros, to me, if the Marlins want him, appreciate you. Good player, needs to be in the big leagues because he can hit, because he doesn't need to be in AAA hitting. But catching isn't there yet. It's just not there yet. He's got to move around differently.
I bet you
I just Googled him, and this is the AI overview, okay? Moises Ballesteros is considered a very good prospect, primarily for his advanced hitting ability, but his long-term defensive role as a catcher is a major question mark, potentially shifting him to first base or designated hitter due to well below average speed and defense. He's a top Cubs prospect with a strong bat, excellent plate discipline, and power, but conditioning and defense are key concerns.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Thank you,
But
AI.
you can improve. You can improve.
You can improve.
No, I'm just saying.
Also, you
You
guys are
can
saying
improve,
this.
but
He might not be. I mean, I don't know if he's.
they
in the
also
deal,
have
probably not,
Amaya,
but yeah,
and they have Carson Kelly, right? So they already have two guys that they're going to use to catch.
yeah, and
So-
nobody that I know of coming through the pipe besides Ballesteros right now.
No, Ballesteros is going to be their DH most of the time or play first. He's not catching. I mean, he might catch a game here and there.
And
That's
to
fine.
me, I think they get tons of value with Seiya at the DH role and somebody upgrading his defense. That's, to me, Suzuki's kept making strides since he's been in the big leagues. Coming over from Japan, second half, he cratered. I get it, but I thought he should have been an all-star last year, and I think their lineup needs an upgrade, and I think it's easiest to upgrade at Seiya's position and move Seiya to DH.
Okay. I'm going to make a prediction on who's involved. Most people are going to see this, and by the time they watch this, maybe we'll know who's involved. But Kevin Alcantara, Jackson Wiggins, two of their top 10 prospects. At least one of them, I think, will be in here. Just throwing that out there.
Okay.
I have my reasons.
I think it's interesting because we heard the Yankees tied to Cabrera. And to me, if the Yankees had picked him up, they still would have needed to do more. I think with the Cubs and what AJ was saying, they got 5 guys. I think with the Cubs, this is it. And so I think it's one of those moves that's like different. If the Yankees pick him up, they still got to make another move because of their big 3 that are going to be out at the beginning of the year. To me, the Cubs, hey, you know what? We're done. I think they're done in their pitching department, and you got to be happy if you're a Cub fan. Starting pitching, locked in. You got 6 guys that can start games for you. You spent a lot of money on your bullpen. Now just a little bit to the lineup.
Yeah, they did. Maton, Hunter Harvey, Caleb Thielbar, Holby Milner. They remodeled the bullpen pretty well. And yes, last piece of the puzzle here is figuring out where they can upgrade the offense.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. TBD.